Would you believe that your normal day-to-day flip-flops that are probably in your house right now can actually create green jobs for someone or for some people, while at the same time conserving the environment? That's what we get to talk about on this episode, how someone or some people came across this brilliant idea and what they're doing to do their part towards addressing the issue of climate change in their own special way, using flip-flops. My name is Sellah Bogonko, co-founder and CEO, Jacob's Ladder Africa, and this is Green Jobs Africa. Joe, right?
Yes.
Welcome to the set.
Oh, thank you.
It's really great to have you. I watched your video and I was just so blown away by the simplicity with which we can all play one role or the other in terms of addressing the issue of climate change. So let's start from the beginning.
Yes.
As I mentioned, offset is that we've seen your video, we've seen what you guys do. And so on this episode, we try to understand the entrepreneurship journey because we're trying to inspire young people to be able to also spot the opportunities around them. Yeah. So probably how many of us, wear flip-flops every day, but would never see the opportunity. And I've never really thought, even from my end, what I would do with those slippers, as we call them, or flip-flops, once you're done with them or once they're worn out. Yeah. So you guys ended up creating an amazing story and also creating jobs out of this idea. So we'll start from the top. How did you, first of all, end up in this space?
I had just relocated from the States, and this is back in 2014. And there was a job offer online, and the agency I was using, the hiring agency I was using, said that I could be a perfect fit. I had never sold before, but what I liked about them is they were recycling flip-flops. I was super keen to find out what that was, and so that's how I got in. The first interview, second interview, I was already sold, and the rest is history.
Okay, I'm sure someone is curious as I am. So you had not done sales before.
Yeah.
These guys were doing recycling, but somehow you were a perfect fit. So what do you think made you a perfect fit?
So they were looking for international sales manager. They wanted somebody that's familiar with the foreign markets and to go out there and sell the flip-flop sculptures. So this was a sales job, and they felt like having that foreign experience could be instrumental in selling the products abroad.
All right. So from the video that we've watched, because we usually play that video of the process of the creation of green jobs, and then we get to interview the people behind the scene who are making the magic happen. Your company is called Ocean Soul, and that you gather these flip-flops and then you're able to clean them. So take us through the process again, just in a summary.
Right. So how it works is we have a network of collectors, and these collectors collect these discarded flip-flops from our weekly beach cleans at the coast of Kenya. Here in Nairobi, they're collecting them from landfills, dump sites. When they bring them to our workshop, we are then washing them clean with soap or detergent. They're placed somewhere where they get to dry. Once they have dried, the artists will pick them up and use them. There's different types of sculptures. We have the smaller ones, like these guys. You can actually count the number of flip-flops that have been used and joined together using glue to make that piece. Then we have the bigger ones where we use polystyrene on the inside and then pad it with the flip-flops.
That's like the couch that you showed, or the thing that you showed?
Yes. So once they're carved, the whole process is manual. The only time we use a machinery is the sanding process. And the sanding process is basically just making it smooth. And from there, they take a bath and off they go to our soulmates all over the world.
Okay, so quick question. So how many people do you employ right now?
Good question. Before COVID, we had 90 artists, but COVID dealt us a huge blow. Our primary market abroad is zoos, aquarium, museum, gift shops. During the pandemic, they were shut closed. And so we were forced to let go of artists. I remember this one time we had only 15 of them left.
From 90?
From 90. Wow. Right now we have about 55. And we had to let them go because our buyers couldn't make any purchases, and so we couldn't produce the products for them.
And that's I was reading an article about just the different economic effects of the post-COVID, how the world has changed, whether it's in the, migration from the office, physical meetings or physical offices to, offline or virtual rather. And just the world is slowly going back to normal, but I don't think we'll ever go back to pre-COVID. And that has very subtle economic impact, social and economic impacts actually. And then it also, you don't realize how it translates to livelihoods.
Yes.
Because I can only imagine the people who are doing this work, those 90 people, you had to let go of about 75.
Correct.
Where they ended up going.
Yeah.
And then especially if you've invested your life in doing something as beautiful as this, and not just a sculpture, but addressing the issue of climate change. Imagine the effects of something like that on their livelihoods. So it can be quite...
Very, very. But we're slowly recuperating as more stores begin to reopen. We're rehiring, and so we're...
So do you sell online, actually?
Yeah, that actually happened at the same time when COVID hit. We are also online for the first time in many years.
We all had to make adjustments.
Yeah, so we, at least that kind of cushioned our business because we were able to sell online, And so even though our main bread and butter customers weren't able to reorder, but individual customers were able to order online and have it delivered to them.
Where do you sell them? Where do you sell them? Like, what platforms do you sell them?
So we have a website, oceansoul.com. We have a fulfillment center in Florida, US. So we ship out containers of our stuff to that location. 9 times out of 10, if you go online and purchase something, if you're in that hemisphere, we ship from there and not from Nairobi.
Okay. And then I saw that you're exhibiting your work in Milan in April. That's a big deal.
Fingers crossed. We're still waiting for our shipment to arrive in Italy. And we're partnering with a Finnish artist, designer. So that's his design, and we made the couches, sofas. So we're super excited to enter into this new realm of making functional art.
Yeah. So one of the things we try to find out on this platform is to find out the journey of either the entrepreneurs or the people behind the scene, the ones that, like I said, make the magic happen. I know that you work as the sales head, right?
Yeah.
So how did this idea come about, if you were to tell us?
So our founder is an ocean enthusiast. So she was keen on having our oceans and waterways cleaned, at the same time employ lots of artists from high impact communities. At that time, Kenya had scaled back on logging, and a lot of artists couldn't carve using wood. And that's why I think 90% of our artists are ex-woodcarvers. So we basically grabbed that talent and told them how to carve using Flipflops instead of wood.
That's an amazing green job transition.
Transformation.
Because you can see how they transited same skills, only that now you're using something different.
And easier.
And then on the other hand, we could find that the wood was actually detrimental to the environment.
Exactly.
But here you are basically helping out, and conserving the environment, which is absolutely remarkable, I must say. Yeah.
Right.
So you got the young people from the carving the wood and transfer them to this?
Right. And most of them, they had this talent, a natural talent to most of these guys. We also have some artists that learn on the job. For example, we have about, say, 13 to 15 female artists. They came in onto the job, as a washer or doing some cleaning jobs. But now, they can grab a knife and carve a giraffe or a lion. Yeah. So there's those kind of artists that have, grown, into the job role. Yeah.
So she basically, she could have worked with plastic or something else. I know this is a form of plastic, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So why did she choose Flipflops in the first place?
Because she saw a lot of kids using Flipflops, joining them together and making car toys. So her epiphany was, if you can make toys out of them, you can make a sculpture out of it. So instead of making keychains, safari animals, now we're making sofas.
Wow. And from your story, you say that last year you collected about 750,000 pieces. And this year, that's Flipflops, rather, and this year you're aiming to collect 1 million?
Right. The impact is really massive. We are collecting about a ton a week.
Wow.
That's also dependent on the orders we get, but we're very optimistic that this year, will be different, because we are on a trajectory where, unlike during the COVID times, we are very positive that, we'll do more sales.
And how much do you pay the workers who bring the Flipflops?
They're paid...
The collectors?
The collectors are paid between 30 to 40 shillings per kilogram.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And what would you say like keeps the what is it called, the engagement going? Are you able to easily tell the story of, especially on the climate positive side, because that's one of the things that has continued to resonate with many people right now, in terms of being able to attach the story to the activity, because it's very easy to do a business for the sake of doing it. But then are you able, I'm sure you're able to use the story behind addressing the issue of climate change when you're narrating this, especially as a salesperson, because that's part of your job, right?
Most of our buyers are what I call eco buyers. They're very conscious about the environment. So we're not only are we dealing with the zoo gift shops or aquarium gift shops, we have big corporations that want to make a big statement about their efforts on marine conservation. So they probably want to do a life-size giraffe or a life-size elephant put in their lobby. Right now we're working on a big project. It's a 5.6 meter tall giraffe for a hotel here in Nairobi. So, and they want to, just say, here's what we're doing for the environment.
Okay. And so do you find yourself partnering, like in terms of market share, not market share, but actual market, do you find it that it resonates more abroad, or are you seeing also the local market opening up with this example of the hotel?
Right now, about 90% of our production is for export. But we are continually working with the local market to see if we can, increase that percentage. And slowly, like I said, right now we're working on a life-size giraffe for a local hotel. So slowly we're getting that momentum. But as we have it right now, about 90% is for export.
I must commend you guys, because I think I saw a significant number of women, you said about 15, that work with you as sculptors, right?
Correct.
And washers, I think.
Yes.
And how does that work for young people? Because we're doing a project, or we're looking around a project around waste management. And one of the consistent narratives that has been there is when young people are ridiculed by their fellow young people, especially when they go to collect the plastics, like the plastic bottles. Because in Kenya, we call them chokoras, like your street boy.
Right.
And yet they're actually doing something positive for the environment. What kind of pushback have you faced, or have the collectors faced? Are you coming across those kind of things, or?
Some of our collectors have been with us for like more than 15 years. So we haven't seen any of that backlash. But as far as Ocean Soul artists are concerned, how they, if maybe you want to talk about how they're compensated. For example, since we've been in operation since 2006, right? So that's like 18 years, so to speak. So the older guys are usually on salary because they're slower now in production, so the salary cushions them. Then you have the younger agile guys who want to get paid more, so they have so they get paid per piece. So we have that hybrid kind of thing going on.
And in terms of the young people, are you seeing more of them taking up this with enthusiasm? Or is it something that is still being, like you're still trying to sell it to them as an idea? No,
the young people are super keen and interested in working with us. And also, I don't know if you guys saw, we also have educational not trips, but school activities. So we believe that you gotta get them while they're young. So we're working with schools here in Nairobi, and for only 750 shillings, you can come for an activity at Ocean Soul, and we give you a 2-hour workshop, tell you how we recycle, why we recycle, and then there's an activity where you get to sit and make a breastplate or a sunglasses thingy like this one. And so the whole activity is like 90 minutes, and it's super educational, and they get to know ins and outs of what we do.
All right. So again, on this platform, we try to aim to communicate to young people that it's not that hard to solve the issue of climate change while creating jobs for themselves and for other people. Perhaps you could speak to the young people who are thinking, I have to get this grand idea. I have to, for me, I like the simplicity of this, and sometimes you don't realize it, but innovations are actually just looking at the problems around you and resolving them. And you're doing a brilliant job at that. So perhaps speak to the young young people who are thinking, how do I play a role? And they're thinking it needs to be a complex idea. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be complex. My best advice I can give is probably just follow your heart. Here in Nairobi, I've seen projects like recycling jeans and making carpets, making school bags. I have seen greenhouses made out of plastic bottles.
Yeah.
So the sky is just
the limit, the ground is where you start.
Yeah, you can do anything. So just follow if you have your mind right, I think you can do anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thanks, Joe.
Right.
I'm absolutely inspired by the work that you're doing, and I believe that you are an example of how we can be able to all play our roles in various ways. Because I'm sure whenever we are buying those flip-flops, I don't think we think of the end effects of what it could, because that's literally a form of plastic, and it does have detrimental effects on the ocean and therefore on the environment. And so thank you for what you're doing. I hope that different young people can learn from you and from you guys. And yes, please do take a tour if you're in Nairobi at any one point. We will leave the details of where they can come to for the tour. If you want to be able to go and craft the sculptures yourself, have that experience, and also just see practically what they're doing and learn a thing or two about what you can do as a young person or as a tourist if you're visiting the country. Please do look at the details in the comment section below. There you have it. It doesn't have to take the world or a master's degree for you to be able to find something to do when it comes to addressing the issue of climate change. You can start where you are. The sky is the limit, but start with the ground, because perhaps the solution is right around you, if not on your feet. Please like, share, comment in the section below. Let us know what you think of this idea. Are you able to also figure out a similar idea that you can do in your own country as a young person? The emphasis for today is that it's not that difficult. It doesn't have to be that complex. My name is Sellah Bogonko, co-founder and CEO, Jacob's Ladder Africa, and this is Green Jobs Africa.